Lately, two largest cybersecurity conferences took place in Las Vegas, Black Hat and DEF CON. The number of published materials may give you a strong headache. In this video, I present the most interesting presentations and briefly describe what you can find in them. If you will like this series, the next episode will most likely show up in a few days. Let's start off with a hardware backdoor built into some x86 processors. After performing a specific instruction, we gain access to the memory used by the operating system. Thanks to this, we escalate our privileges from the regular user account to the administrator or root. To enable this hidden functionality, you need to have access to the kernel. However, the researcher found out that in some cases the backdoor is enabled by default. He created a tool to detect whether our processor is vulnerable to this attack and also allows its patching in a simple and pleasant way. It makes you think, especially when you imagine how many of those types of surprises can be found in modern processors. Our cities continue to be more and more computerized. For example, traffic lights. The tests based on a research in the city of Austin were presented. First example, Lawn Smart Server. Authorization bypassing by adding an additional slash in the URL. Another example, access to the script that disables the given device, available without authorization. Another one is an error in API key validation. In PHP, when we compare data using the string compare function, and the first argument is a string, and the second one is an array, the behavior is undefined and can lead to security errors. This research gives food for thought. What if some organization would want to attack our city? It can, for example, lead to a total traffic paralysis if it makes it to set a red light on all streets. Another topic is the analysis of heart rate monitors that are connected to the internal network of the hospital. Each of them cyclically sends AirWatt packages that contain information about a given device. Also, data about the patient and his heart rate are sent. A method for modifying those packages is presented. Hypothetical attack may look something like this. We came to the hospital with a modified Raspberry Pi. We connect it to the hospital network. At this point, we send information that the patient has a heart attack. Doctor dash into the room and put the patient to treatment, which he does not need because he is healthy. Fortunately, the data shown locally on the monitor is now correct. This is not the first time that a voice is being raised about the safety of medical devices used in hospitals. The main reason why research on this subject is still not very popular is the difficulty in assessing the equipment. It is hard to imagine that a private person could afford to buy a magnetic resonance in order to check its security. Smart card fuzzing. Smart cards are cards that contain our private data, for example GPG keys. That way the keys do not leave the safe device. All cryptographic operations are performed on the card and only the result is returned to the computer. Most developers trust data that is passed through those cards. And this is a mistake. It is now possible, for example, to log into Windows using such card. If there was an error in handling this login, the attacker could log on to each computer. The author of this presentation has made available a collection of tools that may come in handy if you are interested in finding an error of this type. More and more systems allow us to use our voice as a password. This can be problematic, especially for public figures whose high-quality voice samples can be found on the web. The author shows how to train a model based on this data. The only solution is to keep the phrase that is to be pronounced by the person as a secret. Otherwise, it is possible to personate it. The feature to log into a bank account using your voice is now highly endorsed. But is it convenient and safe, or just convenient? Now, attack on cache servers using ESI. Suppose we have a simple website. One part of it is static and does not change. The other one is dynamic. This site is very popular and uses load balancers and cache servers. The client asks for the page. At this point, the request to the cache server is sent. This one sends another request to the application, which returns the page. The cache server checks if there are ESI tags in it. If so, it executes the commands contained in tags by sending requests to the REST server. This way we relieve the application server. The problem is that the attacker can fake ESI tags and, for example, steal the user's cookies and send them to a server controlled by him. It seems that technology such as voicemail is already extinct. Nothing more wrong. Interestingly, it can pose a serious threat to us. Operators provide special voicemail numbers that we can call from a cell phone different than ours. Then we pass our phone and PIN number and we have access to voicemail. But why do we need access to someone else's voicemail? When you forget your password, some large websites have an option to reset it by calling a phone number assigned to your account. There is also a phrase that allows you to reset the password. The attack works as follows. We brute force the voicemail of the person we want to hack in order to source the password. Next, we initiate the password reset procedure. We want the machine to record voicemail, so we have to call the given number at the same time when the machine calls. That way, the machine cannot call in and leaves us a message. And that's it. We have just gained access to someone else's account. This is another example of how forgotten and unused technologies can be used maliciously by attackers. Barcodes can be found on every product we have, starting from milk and ending with electronics. And what would happen if we had our custom barcode scanned in the store? The author of this research published a website that is able to generate a barcode with an interesting payload. We can choose, for example, to start the calculator or a Tetris game. It seems that a device, as simple as a barcode scanner, cannot surprise us. However, this tool shows that it's different and that sometimes it is worth to reading the specification of the device, which we use on a daily basis, in order to find its hidden features. Matlab is a powerful tool for mathematicians. The researcher took a closer look at this software. From this presentation, you can learn how to attack different versions of this software and how to decode P files that are obfuscated scripts. Theoretically, the obfuscation is to protect the intellectual property of mathematicians against theft. In practice, it can be different. An interesting idea for a university pentest. How many university employees would open a Matlab file with interesting content? We hear all the time not to open Word documents, exe files and JavaScript. But has anyone ever talked about Matlab scripts? Every parent is worried about their child. Nowadays, we have many opportunities to find out where our child is. For example, we can install spyware on our phone. In this presentation, the author tested a dozen types of such software and found various errors in them, starting from logins and passwords stored in an external database, the knowledge of which allowed him to download the location of all users of this application. Some programs normally allow you to display phone information to all users, including guests. Knowing our login, someone could follow our daughter. Another application has forgotten about the access rights checking mechanism. All you need to do is enter your ID and the date you are interested in. After reading this research, you may find it safer not to install this type of application if you really care about the privacy of your relatives. And these were the first 10 presentations. If you like it, leave a thumb up. I also encourage you to leave a comment. See you in the next episode. Bye.